You have done so much, you changed so many people's lives. There's a lot of things going on where people look at you and say, Alex, I'm stuck. I'm constantly keep making the same mistakes. I'm living in this bubble where I'm constantly contradicting myself. And I see that a lot in not only direct sales, I see a lot in Instagram, Facebook, social media world where people contradicting a lot of different things. Hey, I'm part of this company, we're selling weight loss, but here I am overweight, right? Or here I am gonna talk about good character, but I am cheating on this person or doing this, doing that. How does someone get rid of contradiction if they're suffering with that? Because to me, contradiction is an addiction.
Okay. Yeah.
So how do you get rid of that addiction to stop contradicting yourself?
I would say if something's coming out of your mouth, you need to back it up with your feet.
But how do they learn to do that?
Stop being a poser. Stop being fake.
Okay.
If you're over here trying to sell a fitness coaching program, dude, you better be 12% body fat. What the hell are we talking about?
Sure.
And now they live in a world of just so much scams and frauds and scheming. And Miami's filled with these millionaires and they got 15 grand in their bank account.
Right.
It's a joke. Dubai, London, it's LA, it's disgusting.
Sure.
So in order to not be one of those people in the dirty swimming pool, you say you're gonna do something, do it. And if you're not doing it when there's nobody watching you, then don't talk about it. Don't teach about it. Like for me, I pride myself on whether it's one-on-one with you, whether it's, last weekend I was on stage in Monterrey, Mexico, 3,000 people, whether I'm just chilling with my wife, I am who I am. People that work with me today, people that worked with me that I helped become a millionaire and left my team, we're still friends. They'll be like, yeah, Alex is, no one's gonna be like, oh, he's fake. The way you see him on Instagram is different than he is up here.
Sure.
I am who I am.
Right.
So I think everyone should, be who you are, man. You don't need to lie. Nobody's perfect. I'm not a perfect mentor. Everyone screws up all the time, right? So if it's gonna come out of your mouth, back it up with your feet. I tell people, Bob Proctor told me, Alex, the only thing that matters is their results. People can tell you a zillion things and they sound pretty, dress all nice, talk about God. Listen, man, what are they doing when nobody's watching?
Exactly.
What you do in private will get exposed in public eventually.
Yeah, it's the man that walks in light has nothing to hide in the dark.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you say just do it, right? But people say, I can't do it. I keep breaking the promise of myself. And then what they do is that they blame the company, they blame the leader, they blame everything, but not take accountability and responsibility for what they do. So my thing is, how do you deal with that type of person? Do you work with them? Do you try to help them? Do you try to change them? Or do you just say, you gotta go?
So I have a rule. If I'm working with you and I feel I want it more for you than you want it for yourself, that's when I move on. But I give people chance after chance, opportunity after opportunity. But if you keep telling me, Alex, I want to do this to retire my mom, she works 2 jobs in Costa Rica, but then you don't show up on the Zoom calls, you don't get to the convention, you don't get to the masterminds, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Say, hey man, you remember when you told me you were doing this to retire your mom? You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what happened to that? So I'll know why they're doing the business. And if they drop the ball a couple times, that's okay. But I'm going to start giving them personal time. If I feel like I want you to cross the finish line more than you want to cross the finish line, then it's like you got to move on. Because remember, it's way easier to make a new baby than raise the dead. Can't raise the dead, man. And I don't care how good of a speaker, trainer, best-selling author somebody is, me, you, somebody else. If that person is not inspired, fuck motivation, right? If they're not inspired, David Goggins could spend a week with someone, he ain't gonna do anything, man.
Right.
Bullshit, right? Inspired, the first 2 letters, I-N, is in. It has to come from within you.
I agree.
It's not what me and you say. People listen to this podcast, they can listen to it, they can get charged up, fired up. What are you doing, 2 Tuesdays from next Tuesday? Are you gonna get up? Are you gonna show the plan? You're gonna wake up? Are you gonna pray? Are you gonna be grateful? Are you gonna do personal development?
Yeah.
Or are you gonna sit there and just say, oh, the world's so hard, the economy's so hard? Well, now Trump's in office, man. What are you complaining about now, dumbass?
I love it.
It's America.
I love it. People ask me all the time, Albert, what do you think about leadership? If you could describe leadership, what is leadership? And to me, leadership is about result, right? And a lot of times I work with people, I mentor people come and say, hey, help me out. And I say, sure, I'll help you out, right? I need you to do this. They don't do it. But here's what they say to me. But I have good intentions. I wanted to do it. But something came up and something happened. And I said, it doesn't matter about how good of your intentions are because it's actions speak louder than words, right? So how do we get people to stop confusing intention with result?
Well, intentions don't pay your bills.
Right.
Intentions don't buy a nice car. It doesn't feed your family. It doesn't fly your mom to Dubai for the first time. It doesn't do any of that.
Sure.
Intentions are very important. However, actions and results. So people say, oh, I had good intentions, but something came up. It comes down to your priorities, my friend. If something's that important to a person on this planet, they will go do it. If somebody walked in here right now and said, I'm going to murder your family unless you bring me $50,000 cash by 8 a.m., best believe me and you will leave the studio, come hell or high water.
Yeah.
We're showing right back up here before 6 a.m. with 50 grand.
Yeah.
So there's this epidemic where people are living their life based on their feelings. And, I agree with 72% of what Andrew Tate talks about. Some of his stuff I think is just garbage. And when he talks about women, my wife makes more money than 99% of my my friends.
Yeah.
Just facts. Like the whole women thing, it's like shut up.
Yeah.
Like just shut up. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
But when he talks about, other people talk about, live your life based on what you need to get done on priorities, regardless of how you feel. I think that makes a lot of sense.
100%.
Especially if you are a biological male. I get a lot of shit for that sometimes, but you can't really argue this. We cannot give birth.
Right.
So women get a little bit more slack in life because they are a portal between the spiritual world and the physical world. We're not. And as a guy, as a boy, as a man, growing up, there were days my dad didn't want to go to the office. There were days my grandfather didn't want to go work and sew buttons on suits.
Right.
They did it anyway because they had children. They had a wife. They had a family to take care of, man.
Yeah.
And now, like these younger generations, I don't feel good. I have a headache. My doctor told me I have anxiety, depression. You go to Egypt and you bring up depression. They'll fucking laugh at your face.
Absolutely.
We have a team in Egypt. We joke about it. Like I just saw two of our leaders in Monterrey, Mexico. They're like, bro, it's insane how soft the men are in the western part of the world.
100%.
They're working 18 hours a day, smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee in Turkey, Egypt, busting their ass. They're like, you guys are a bunch of...
Why are people so weak?
I think it's a paradigm. It's the environment. It's the subconscious mind has been programmed to believe like it's okay to not do certain things if you feel a certain way. It's okay to just be average and mediocre. It is okay. People go do whatever the hell you want. The more men out there that want to sleep in and get high all day and jerk off, whatever, it's easier for us to go, okay, I'll go make 400 million then. Whatever. But it's the upbringing. And honestly, this may sound a little bit one way or the other, but I think it's parenting too. Like my dad, I played baseball in second grade. I didn't want to play anymore. I went to a couple practices. I'm like, Dad, this is boring. I remember. So I sucked at baseball. I don't want to do baseball anymore. My dad said, hey, next season, you don't have to play baseball. But guess what you're going to do for this season? You're going to finish the season.
I love it. Yeah.
And I asked him when I got older, I said, why the hell did playing the violin, my neck hurt, the violin hurts. Okay, don't do it next year. You signed up, you're going to finish the violin classes.
I love it.
As I got older, and he said, because Alex, if I would have let you quit baseball, then I would have let you quit this, would have quit that, because quitting would have been common habit, man.
I want to share a story with you. My son, 5 years old, did jiu-jitsu for 4 months, okay? Goes into this competition. Dad, I really want to do competition. Okay, let's go. Goes against the kid who has 29 wins, 0 losses, okay? He's doing this for 4 months. This kid's doing this for 3 years. He gets absolutely destroyed, dismantled, crying. He has to go again against this kid. My wife is like, Albert, we're not putting him back again. So what do you want? He goes, I want to go back. And he's full of tears, crying, got completely destroyed, goes back in, gets destroyed again, comes back. He says, I never want to feel this way again. I never want to feel the defeat. He's 5 years old. Wow. He's crying, and he's crying, goes, Daddy, I won the medal. And I said, you're gonna fucking earn it. And you're gonna earn a lot of medals, but you're not getting one as a participation trophy. They were giving those out. I'm like, you're not getting one. You're gonna work your ass off. Last month, he won his first gold medal.
Wow.
And to him, he talks about it. He goes, I wanna work hard. I wanna eat right. I wanna do this. Now he's 6. A year of pain, year of suffering, year of not giving up. Just because he went back again and got his ass kicked again, but he didn't quit.
Yep.
That gave him a sense of, I never wanna feel this way. What do I need to do? You got fucking adults who are 20, 30 years old, are still making excuses. Don't want to go into the game. Don't want to be in position of pain. So they throw a white flag and say, you know what, I'm going to live my life average. I don't understand that. To me, that's a sickness.
Yeah, everything you said. Yeah, I don't understand it. And again, I learned that not everybody I work with or talk to wants to be a millionaire. And guess what? That's totally fine.
Yes.
Not a big deal. It's not even about the money.
No.
However, it's the guy, it's the girl that says, oh, I want this, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. But they're not willing to do any of the work. They're not willing to train. All they do is complain, bitch, moan, and blame the whole world. That's my issue. I got friends, man. Normal job, wife, couple kids. Those guys are actually happier than some people I know that are worth 50, 80, 100 million. So I'm not over here saying you gotta have a lot of money to be happy, because I don't think that's right. Mm-hmm. But if you say you want all these things, and then you make all the excuses, then you say, oh, this guy got lucky, she got lucky, it's bullshit, it's the president, it's this. That's the problem.
You travel to 76 different countries, third world countries, countries that maybe not in the third world, but second world countries. Then you live in America and you see Americans. To me, I was born inside a refugee camp, 350 square foot room, public bathrooms, public showers. So when I came to the United States of America and I saw this yellow bus, I see squirrels running around. When I grew up, there was rats, like squirrels. This is crazy. This is, amazing. I'm like, wow, these people got it good. I had to walk 2 miles to go to school. In winter, summer, it didn't matter. There's no bus, there's nothing. So I'm like, these people got got it. This is amazing. And then I looked at how people abuse it, how people don't appreciate it. And to me, it was like, okay, I come from a different country, so I appreciate America 100 times more.
Yep.
Why are the people that live here don't understand that, man, there's someone from a different country who wishes that they were here. Look where you have connections, all these different things, avenues that you can go there and break through. You don't have to be average. You don't have to make $50,000 a year and settle. Why don't people appreciate America the way they should?
Well, part of it may not be their fault because they don't have anything to compare it to, right? If you're born in Phoenix, Arizona, and you grow up in Scottsdale, Arizona, and there's malls and there's nice cars and there's nice restaurants and you're comfortable, all you know is all you know. Like, our belief system is created by the things we see, hear, and experience. So if all you're seeing, hearing, and experiencing is comfort, mediocre, no pain, no suffering, that stuff is so distant. Like, until I started traveling, I remember growing up in 9/11 and showing clips of Afghanistan. It was like a movie to me. I'm thinking, okay, I'm in Ohio eating my mom packed me lunch today. Taliban this, Taliban that. You don't know, but then, so part of it may not be their fault. However, that doesn't change the fact that they're taking everything for granted. So yeah, it's still no excuses, and people abuse it. I don't know why they do. I don't understand. I don't understand it, because when I grew up, I'm like, there's so much opportunity here, man. Like, I was the kid, I went to school, I go to Arizona State, I would go to Fashion Square Mall on the weekends, no car, and if you pulled up in a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, even a Mercedes back then, I was knocking on windows. I didn't care.
You asked, what do you do?
What's up, man? My name is Alex. I'm a freshman at Arizona State. Super awesome car. Question, like, the kid that does all these things, I was doing that, no camera.
Right.
Everywhere I went.
Wow.
I go to nice restaurants. I'd go to the bar. I'd order water. I didn't have money to buy an old fashioned or drink, a tequila drink, and I would sit there and I would just schmooze with people, man. I would see you walking in a nice suit. Hey, man, my name's Alex. I'm going to school. I just moved out here from Ohio. What do you do? And I was like, I want to get around wealthy people. Like, so, and that's how you build relationships. You meet new people. You network. Like, there's so much opportunity. And people say, oh, I don't have the connections, the money. No, you're lazy.
I agree.
We're in Miami.
Yeah.
Go to the design district. There's every second car's a Rolls Royce.
100%.
Excuse me, sir. Can I get 10 seconds of your time? Pete, and this is what I realized. Successful people, a lot of them, they do want to get back.
Yes.
They do want to tell their story. They do want to say, hey, young man, this is what I did. People just got to go out there and have resourcefulness.
To me, I sell people the ticket to hell, right? Not to heaven. And I tell them, if you go through hell, you get to heaven. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everything's going to be easy. Right. You're going to get on the phone. You're going to make $10,000 your first month. No, you're going to get hung up on 200 times a day. You're going to be called names. You're going to go home. You're going to want to cry. And you're going to want to quit every single day of your life while you're here. But then if you truly want to make it, you're going to study the script. You're going to study the rebuttals. You're going to study the product. And you're going to have the blueprint that's going to get you to where you're looking to go. And most people, once they hear that, say, I don't want to do it, because they set the right expectation. But those that understand the expectation and do it, we have a retention rate of 84% right now.
Wow.
Just simply because we tell people exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So instead of get everybody through the seats and then they're going to fall out, get the right people in the seats.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
What advice do you have for people that right now want to be successful, but they are stuck in a bad environment and they cannot leave their bad environment yet? They're 18, right? And they're like, I have to live with my mom, but my mom is very negative. I have my girlfriend. I don't have the balls yet to be a man and say, she's too negative for me.
Yeah.
How can they still find opportunity to grow while living in those conditions?
Mentally and digitally change your environment.
Mentally and digitally. So can
mentally,
you elaborate?
like the mind, right? The subconscious mind. I mean, I'm a great example, right? Even when I was paying $400 a month rent, living with 4 other guys, sharing a toilet with another guy in college, I had the Porsche Design Tower on my wall. I had Rolls Royce emblems on my wall.
Vision boards.
I was doing personal development. I was going to sleep to either Jim Rohn, Earl Nightingale, or Bob Proctor every night. I was waking up to Nick Sarnicola, Holton Bugs, Tony Robbins every morning. So even though I was here, in my environment might have been broke, poverty, a lot of negativity, I was taking myself out of it through personal self-development. People can use their phone, and you can turn your car into a mobile classroom. Every gym session could be personal development seminars. Everything's on YouTube. Most of it's free, right? So through that, you can create your own world. Because if you sit there and you're listening to, it doesn't matter, me, you, Tony Robbins, whoever, right? You close your eyes, you're envisioning a better tomorrow. You're envisioning a better future. People have to buy into that, though, because some people hear that and they go, yeah, bullshit, right? Okay, yeah, I'm going to take myself out of my present, throw it into the future. Yeah, that's exactly what you're going to do, because everything begins in the mind. This entire studio, every single thing in this studio was first in somebody else's mind before it was physically created.
Yes.
That's just facts.
Yeah, 100%.
So your future must also begin in your mind. So build it in your mind, right? Law of attraction, law of vibration, that could be a whole other podcast episode. But the point is we can use our higher faculties. One is imagination, and build and create the future version of ourselves.
Yes.
and fall in love with that attainment. The people that I work with, people that are struggling like the people you're talking about right now, I would say, hey man, what's your goal? $10,000 a month. Awesome, Brian. Brian, if you're making 10 grand a month right now, how would you walk, talk, act, eat, sleep? When would you wake up? When would you go to bed? What would you dress like? How would you shake somebody's hand? How would your eye contact be? Well, this, that. Okay, be that person.
Right.
It's be, do, and then have.
That's right.
So many people think it's, I gotta have it first.
Right.
And then I'll do it, and then I'll be it. No, it's not, no.
Doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work like that.
You talk about future pacing, you talk about vision, you talk about looking at better tomorrow. And a lot of people live in yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? They're still talking about the touchdown they made in high school. They're still talking about the hot girl they dated back in college. They have no new results, no new goals, no new mountain to conquer, right? So for me, average people talk about yesterday. Successful people talk about yesterday.
Ooh, I like that.
So how does someone shift their mind to not focus on the past? Not even if the past is good or bad. How do they shift their mind to say, I will create a better tomorrow?
Well, number one, understand whatever happened this morning at 9 a.m., we can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
We can't change it. So us talking about it, thinking about it, feeling about it, and our emotions doesn't do any good. And when you're sitting in a car, the front windshield is like this big. The rear view mirror is what? This big.
Yeah.
Right? So you're gonna be look where you're going. And this is common sense. Like, I'm not trying to make this something that it's not. Like, that should be a simple thing to do. We cannot go back to yesterday and change anything about it. But if we keep thinking about, and a lot of the past people think about is it positive or negative?
Negative.
What if it's negative?
Yeah.
So we keep thinking negative, then we feel negative, then we get an emotional vibrational frequency of guess what? Negative. Now we're emitting negative frequency out to the ether, which is the universe,
Yep.
and then we're attracting more negative. So we can recreate a negative experience physically again. Self-sabotage at its highest level. So people need to think, well, I need to think about something that's positive. I need to think about maybe what excites me, my goals. What are your goals? Well, I'd like to have this car. What kind of car? BMW. No, what color is the car?
Sure.
What color's the inside? You're driving the car now. What song's playing on the radio? What city you drive? Oh, LA. Listening to Drake. Who's sitting next to you? Oh, my
Yeah.
girlfriend. What's her name? You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
You create a mental movie,
Sure.
and then you think about yourself in that mental movie, living that experience out in the physical world.
Yes.
And now the universe says this is what he wants, so I'm going to give him the people, the places, the situations, the opportunities to make it happen. This isn't positive thinking, hocus pocus. These are laws of the universe.
100%. Just to add to that, right? I have a trick of my own, and I was in a dark place. When I was 17, 18, I was a gyro boy. I was working 2-3 jobs, trying to make it, trying to survive, trying to make sure that somehow, some way, my name, is not being just wasted. So when I was in a dark place, I wasn't trying to look in the back, because you're right, the front vision of going forward is more important than looking in the back. But when I was looking forward, Alex, everything was blurry. So here's my secret, right? It's called SOS. Stop, observe what you said, right? What do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Where do you want to go? And once you stop and observe, you have to shift. And once you shift your picture, once you shift in terms of what you want, the picture is no longer blurry. You know exactly where you're going, and you know exactly where you want to be. So a lot of people, they are afraid to face the truth. They're afraid to sit down, to stop, observe, and shift, because they live on an autopilot. And they need to be able to reset that button and say, I'm no longer going to be this, person that's on the strings, doing the same thing over and over again. I got to stop, I got to observe, and I got to shift.
I like that.